Welcome to the Cauldron of Curiosities.
Today, in Foragers feedback, I'm actually going to start looking in a garden. You may have noticed it's the season for the yellow flowers coming out. The dock over there is seeding, so it's getting pretty old, and some of the yellow flowers have actually started to get their fluff. These look like a dandelion, don't they? But they're a little bit taller, and it's probably a version called cat's ear. So they are still edible. And the other thing I just noticed is the seed heads on the broadleaf plantain. So they have been flowering, which has helped identify them. That's possibly the reason why, amongst all this dried grass, we have seen things surviving, because their need to create has possibly allowed them to survive some of the drought. So you'll notice there's a dandelion crown surviving. We've got a few flower heads, but it's mainly dry edges. But here on the oak tree, I'm having a look to see if there are any acorns on this particular oak tree. They haven't formed yet, but I have seen some acorns in another area. So there doesn't seem to be much happening on here. Obviously looks really parched due to not having any rain. They have had some protection from the other trees being around, but they're all competing with each other for the water, which is in the lower ground, deeper levels. We've got seed heads on this plant. You see those? So I'm not quite sure what that one is. It's got a serrated edge. It's a medium green colour. They're quite big, the serrations on that, and they look, in a way, a little bit like the keys that you see on an ash tree. Moving along towards where there is an ash. This one's looking really healthy considering the weather that we've had. There's no keys on this one because it's quite a young one. And there's the willow. The willow again is looking really parched, struggling. So you can see where the leaves curl up, and it's trying to catch as much moisture as possible. And that's one of the signs that you might see when the leaves are curling. They're trying to catch as much as they can. So that looks a bit like a beech, but they're too jagged, the leaves, for a normal beech. The sycamore has got the seed heads, so it's got the helicopter seeds ready, and they're already drying out. So these are quite interesting, aren't they? These almost like little Christmas trees in their shape. Beautiful, aren't they? Always fascinates me how we see the different signs at different times of the year. And as I've mentioned on some of the podcasts before, when you're walking around, you might not necessarily realise, but warmer places will move through the seasons a little bit faster than cooler places. So if somewhere's catching the wind all the time, they may take a little bit longer, which is one of the reasons why you'll notice that the blackberries are fully in bloom. Now, if you can hear a rustling sound, it's because Bumble does like to offer his own offerings whenever we go out. Oh look, there's a feather there. And yeah, if I'm doing anything at all, you can guarantee if I bring Bumble, we have plenty to pick up, even if we're on the intention of foraging. You'll notice in there somebody's dumped a pair of shoes. The brambles here don't have any fruit on, so that's interesting. And there are some nettles there. This is a field maple. Can you see those seed heads on there? And there's some damage from the wind. We had some quite heavy winds here, and that's had an impact on how the branches are put under stress. You might want to look at the bark to see if there's any sap coming not sap, it's like a resin that comes through. Have a look and see if you're seeing any signs of stress. So I had to spend some time with my cherry tree because I didn't know this, but stoned fruit, you actually have to prune it in around about August time, and I did some research into it because there was a lot of amber oozing coming through her trunk, and it said there was a possibility that she had a fungus infection. So I bought some copper spray, and I also took the wood back as far as I could, and I've left it out in the sunshine to let the sun do its work on the wood that's come off, and then come up with an idea of what will be happening with that wood. And I also spent some time pushing a good degree of water in there as well. You'll notice here the rose hips are already colouring, and I remember this time last year we still had roses, so the dog roses were still blooming in July last year, but they've gone. We've got the rose hips ready, getting ready to be coloured in, and the hawthorn, they're green haws. The thing is, with the lack of water, we're not getting the plump fruit that you would normally get. Let's have a close-up. So if you have a look, there's plenty of berries on the trees. They're just looking rather shriveled, aren't they? What are you finding? Are you noticing that the blackthorn, some of the blackthorn berries are almost black, ready for picking? But as you can see there, if I go in close again, the hawthorn berries here are bright green. So some of those are a little bit healthier, but they're definitely not as plump as last year's, which is a shame, isn't it? And the ivy here, there is some buds there ready coming through, and ivy, some of you may already know, is one of the last flowering bushes that the pollinators have access to. So it's really going to be quite topsy-turvy, isn't it? I've got a very stupid dog who keeps going after the cat food, so excuse this clip. So parched dandelion crowns, maybe the odd bit of plantain that you're going to find, and you'll notice that the berries are starting to ripen. Do let me know what you're finding. And the other thing I've noticed is the finches all appear to have disappeared out of the hedges. So where have they gone? There we go. There's the range that's got black and red berries ready to go into the pie. You can hear some birds in the background there. but not in this bush, and they do like to be in the hedges, don't they? And I wanted to show you, this is where I came earlier in the year, and there are some aspens here. This is what Coventry City Council has done to the healthy trees, is chopped them down and left it as a lovely rubbish collection zone. Now look at that. So the rose there has already got red rose hips. So it's pushing along, isn't it? So the sunshine is definitely doing its work. And we've got grass seeds. I mentioned that last week, but if you wanted to collect grass seeds, it's an interesting plant. Looks a bit like a tomato plant, doesn't it? Or is it potato? I don't know. If anybody knows what that was. So there's a few there. This plant, I found loads of this on the allotment, and I had to look it up, and it's a type of it's called something weird like stinkweed, but it is edible in small amounts, but they said you might want to cook it. Just to be mindful. So yellow flower season, and then there is, we've got some dock, and that looks like it might be, somebody's talking about marjoram growing in the wild. Have a look at that. Maybe a little rub of that. It's not very strong. It has got furry leaves. If you look at it, they've got heart-shaped leaves, and they're quite furry, and they're working not quite on the lamiaceous style. Because if you see, the leaves on that one are alternate as they go up the stem and as they spiral round. So if anybody can confirm what that particular plant was, a bit more of a local hedge. It's all seeding. You can see the heads of a thistle type. More of the rose hips, and they're green, they haven't gone red yet. Some blackberries, and the oak here, and there is a bit of an alder poking through. Interesting. Not quite sure what the rest of the alder tree is. Let's have a look. I can't see any acorns on this one. It really is looking rather crispy, isn't it? So it's not getting enough water possibly. I can see some flowers up there on an aspen leaf. And this, there's your identifier for the alder tree. I didn't know there was an alder tree here. The green cones that will be releasing seeds. There's a lime, I believe. Let's have a look. Have we got any lime? They've actually really crisped up. So the lime seed heads, if you can get them where they haven't gone really crispy, look at those, just completely dried up. Well, if they haven't done that, you can make like a wild chocolate. Somebody posted about it on TikTok. We've got another field maple. You see where the edges of the leaves are all curled up. Again, give us a drink. So the water, the rain we had the other day was not enough. It did not help. And it's all looking a little bit crunchy. If you've got any questions or you want to contact me, then it's the Cauldron of Curiosities podcast. I'd love to hear from you and any feedback that you might want to share with me and Bumblebee. Wishing you a marvellous, magical day.